No, and if you guys are cool puppies, we're cool.
Did you explain this system?
I did to some of us. We can all look at it.
Everyone, come on in.
So
the
this
system is kind of a very unique and very cheap way of filtering any kind of invertebrate.
Yeah, so these are all the same down that way. If you guys kind of maybe want to shuffle that way, I'll explain this one, but you can look inside. So we have an upwelling and downwelling situation going on. So this bar here is our inflow. They're hooked up to these little air lines. Those go into the tailpipe over here. And so that's flowing into, the water is flowing into this back one. Underneath there's a mesh, and that's just to prevent the babies from getting stuck at the bottom. And so this side is still full with eggs that haven't hatched yet. The side closest to you has those free swimming larvae. That's why they're kind of floating around more. So once they hatch, they flow with the water over to the other side. And then every day that we have babies, we're changing the incubators. So anyone that doesn't make it over to the other side, we assume either isn't developing properly or could be dead already. And so those guys just get rinsed out, and then each day make more space for the healthy ones.
You can see where it's really hard to see the mesh, but you can on some of these you can see like where the eggs are collecting on the bottom. That's where, so it's basically right where the seam is. There's a layer of really fine mesh. It's like 20 microns or 40 microns or something like that.
Yeah.
And so like what Andy was saying, it goes in this inflow tube, so it's going in, the water's going on the bottom, right? And so it's very gentle. It's like very gentle flow.
Here, I can pull one out.
You kind of see just on the outflow pipe, like how very little, but now it's just slowly kind of coming up and draining out. And so that way they'll, once they start hatching, like all the ones that are alive will end up on one side, and the ones that, you know, don't hatch over here, then you can kind of take this out and clean it, and then they'll swap it. So then the next day, like this will be the inflow pipe. At least this is how we do that in Rio. And then you can have all, because they're all over here now, right? And then you can kind of go over, and they'll slowly go over here, boom, and then they can clean this one out. You want to be like super clean, especially like the first stages, because they're very, very sensitive. So it's an awesome system. Very cheap to make, right? Like super cheap to make. Most expensive thing is actually just getting the mesh. I mean, just tons of abalone babies just on one like wet table. Okay?
Yeah.
And so you were saying how many go in one trough or one system?
In one stack we do around 100,000. Sometimes it's more. Not so babies.